saying this, so
Yeah,
that way I
sure.
won't forget.
All right, so I told the kids to make a table of the three variables, the x, the y, the z, and then the constant, which is the number. The number always goes on the right. And I told them if they don't have a variable, like this equation does not have a y, they're supposed to fill in with a 0. And then if, once they set up the table or this matrix, then they go to the calculator and use a calculator for that. The problems like this, where the equal sign is way over here and they've got numbers or variables on the right side, they need to make sure that they get moved to the left side first. The only thing that should be, this equation you can see, when you move the 2x to the left, it becomes negative because it's positive here. The 6z, when you move it over here, that also becomes negative because it's positive here. Anytime you change, anytime you change the
To the other equal sign?
yeah, they changes the signs.
Right.
And then after that, it's just a matter of, again, completing the matrix. So fill in anything that's missing with a 0, and then check the diagonal. When you get your answer, you're going to check your diagonal, like I told you over here on the notes. Check the diagonal, make sure they're all ones. If they're all ones and the last column has numbers, then you actually have a point. You have one solution. If your diagonal ends up with a 0 at the end, and then you go down this last column, which is supposed to be your answer, but you have a 0, you see these two zeros, then that's an infinite solution problem. And if you look at problem number 7, when we did it, that was going to be, that's the answer. It's an infinite solution. So when you get your calculator, your answer should look diagonal with a 0, and then there's numbers and a 0 here. And it doesn't matter at that point, just check diagonal and column. Doesn't really matter the rest. As long as these are zeros, it's going to be infinite solution. Okay? If the diagonal is a 0 at the end, but you end up with a number, if you have that, then that's a no solution. And that's what I did with problem number 9. After I moved everything and I arranged my equations, once you arrange the equations, then you can write all your coefficients, fill in any missing parts with zeros, put it in the calculator, and then you check again. Like I said, check your diagonal, check your last column. If you have a 0 is equal to a number, then that's a no solution problem.